Let me just give you an introduction of what I have to say.
Thank you, Vinay.
Yeah. So in the year 2015, in Singapore, it's a morning rush hour, and people are rushing to work. And I can hear some background noise. Are everybody muted?
Yeah.
So during this rush hour, suddenly people notice a child hanging from the second floor of an HDB balcony. And it's the morning rush hour. And then one person decides to act. He climbs the pipes and onto the ledge, and he saves this 3-year-old girl from a certain death. And this man was not donning a Superman's or a Batman's costume. He was an ordinary person. He was a construction worker. And so here is an example of a leader, someone who goes beyond their assigned duties. He is a construction worker, and he went beyond that. He looked around for an opportunity to serve, and he saved this child from a certain death. And these are events which these are people which I call leaders. They do not need to have a title. So it's about going beyond your scope of work and finding opportunities to serve. It requires kindness and love and compassion. And today, leadership is ever more relevant because you are seeing an unprecedented wave of pandemic, and organizations and companies have to reinvent themselves to cater to the workforce. They have had to make you work from home, work from virtual workspaces. And even today, not only adults, even children and housewives, parents are all working from home. So it has led to a massive reinventing and a new way of thinking, a new way of working. So this leadership, it all brings us to this question of what is leadership, and why do some people take initiative? Why do some people care to serve? You can talk of healthcare workers putting themselves at the forefront in this struggle against the pandemic. And you can see there are a lot of reactions, countries who like to, work in isolation, countries working together, governments and leaders. You can see which countries are doing well in this crisis. And it's all about leadership and working together. So that brings me to a question about what does leadership mean to you? And so I like to pose this question. What are 3 traits that you think leaders should have to lead in terms of times of crisis? So you can click on this, or I'll just copy it out into the chat also. And you can use this to key your responses. You can just key three traits that you think a leader should have to thrive in a disruption or in a crisis. So I have put that in the chat also. Just you can go to that Padlet and you can actually key your 3 responses. Yeah, instead of the chat box, you can key. You can click on the link and you can key it there. Yeah, actually, you can use that Padlet. Yeah, so I see some people are keying in. Yeah. So I give you a few minutes to. So I'd welcome everybody to try to think of these attributes of a leader. So it's nice to have interaction from all of you because that's how we all learn from each other. Yeah, I think we have a lot of people. Let's have some responses here. Yeah. Courage, passion, clarity in thoughts. Yeah, somebody. Any more responses? Yeah, you can key it in the Padlet so that we can have you can get a single view of all the responses here. Okay, there are some responses below. Okay, I see a lot. Okay. Okay, so if the first one says provide a workable vision, that's engage, enable, and empower. That's nice. 3 E's: engage, enable, and empower. Very nice thought. It's about empowering your workforce, engaging them, and enabling them. That's providing the resources they need. The second panel talks about empathy and effective communication. The third one is about empathy, mentoring, and direction. Then we have risk taking, ownership, that is about accountability in failure. Very nice view. Yeah. Conviction in crisis times. Trust, collaboration, inspiration. Very nice. Positive attitude, confidence. Yeah. And then we have selflessness. Very nice. Passion to serve, empowerment, empathy. So there are some common themes coming out here. Empathy is one of the themes, that having compassion and empathy to your people. Kindness. And there is something behind here that is out of box thinking, high EQ, ready to support the team, provide resources. Very nice responses. Yeah. I saw some in the chat also. You said that is about courage, accountability, passion, clarity of thought, calm nature. Very nice. Analytical, situational awareness, takes initiative, guides the team, and to do what is logically correct even in difficult times. Visionaries, thought clarity, so many nice views. Yeah, very nice. Confidence and humanity. Okay. Okay, that's a nice. So we go back to our. Yeah. So now I'd like to take a simple poll for first question. I think, Ketan, can you show the first poll? Yeah.
Yes, yes. Just throw open the questions, and once you are able to see, let me know. Okay. Everyone is able to see this?
We are able to see.
Okay, thanks. Okay, thanks. People have started responding. So there'll be 5 minutes. It should not take 5 minutes for this, but
Yeah, it should take a few minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's wait for 2 minutes at least, and then we'll stop and take a view. We have 75 participants, so
oh, that's quite a good number. Yeah.
Yes. Wait for another 25 seconds.
Okay, sure.
Number of people are doing it. I can see 20 people have not started. 24 people. Let's wait for another few seconds. Then See, numbers are not changing now. Should I end the poll now?
Yeah, you can show.
Okay,
You'll
I'm
be
closing the
able
poll.
to see the results now? Or?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we have a couple of answers, which is active listening. Most of you, 11 out of you, 80 have selected active listening. Then we have communications, and we have the next important, integrity and accountability, and then trust. Very nice, yeah. So we see the maximum, no answer is 22 here. Some of you have not answered, yeah. So I would encourage all of you to actually participate so that we can have an interactive session, yeah. But so the theme here is like self-awareness is there, but the top hitters are active listening, communications, and we have accountability and trust and integrity. So that's very yeah, in line with what we have. So that's the poll. I hope all you got the results of the poll. So this is the first thing. Now we'll just look at some of these qualities, these attributes. Self-awareness, why is it so important to be self-aware of yourself as a leader? Because, you know, during a crisis or during any situation, a team looks up to a leader to have some composure, to be the anchor person for the team. It's because everything is haywire. They are looking for some calm. They are looking for some calm in the storm. Somebody who can guide them, somebody who can be the anchor person. And so this word anchor is very important, because it anchors a ship, like, you know, which is just going haywire, moving here and there. So you need a person who is able to take care of their emotions, someone with emotional intelligence, then before taking care of your team. So, you know, when you travel by a flight, you always have the flight attendants tell you that to actually take care of your safety, if there is a drop in pressure, put on your mask first before you attend to your somebody else. And that is the same in a situation in a crisis. Like, you have to first of all be able to take care of yourself before you can take care of your team and anybody else. So some of the things about self-awareness is that you need to have that emotional quotient to take a step back and look at the whole picture. So as a leader, right, you don't get lost in the details. Though that is for your team, the team is working on some problems and issues, and you are supposed to take a step back and look at the whole picture and see how this aligns with the vision of the company or the organization during this time. And the second thing is the being the anchor person for the whole team, somebody they look to for advice, somebody they look to for mentorship, guidance, and for support during time. So that is the point about empathy that most of you brought out, about being able to relate to someone, about being trusting your people, so that you know, in times of these you need trust a lot, and trust comes through influence, trust comes through leading by example. Trust doesn't come easy. The next thing is responding rather than reacting to situations. So when you are faced with a situation, when you're faced with a particular situation, you can do two things. You can respond, you can either react, or you can take flight away from it. So this responsiveness is about thinking and analyzing rather than blindly reacting. So when there is a situation, it's easy to get upset. It's easy to get anxious, anxiety attacks and all. But to respond after good thought is not easy, and that is what leaders are made up of. Leaders have this attribute. And this, I think, some of you have mentioned situational awareness, how to respond to a situation. It means that in different situations, a leader doesn't behave alike. It's not always the same. They are adaptive, and adaptive leadership comes to the mind. So when you have a crisis, when you have a fire in your building, you can't expect the leader to be soft and say, okay, let's all assemble outside our building slowly and in queue. I mean, go take the staircase. You cannot be that calm. You have to have the command style that time. You have to behave in a commanding style. And you have to say that there is a fire in the building and we need to vacate as soon as possible, and really give an order to the people to actually follow it. So you can't be the different type of adaptive, conversational style or empathetic leader at that time. So it requires to adapt to different situation, and that is called situational awareness. It doesn't mean that a good leader is not always soft. He has to also be tough at times, and when the situation demands. So this is about self-awareness. And there are some of these attributes, and we are going to take a look at those attributes first here. So the next is about strategic vision, the quality of a leader to take a step back and look at the overall picture. And this is something which is very, very important in a company today, to look at the whole picture. So a person who has a strategic vision is able to see the far-sighted, is able to be far-sighted and looks at the overall scheme of things, rather than having a very myopic vision of what is just nearby details. So they have a keen interest in events going around the world. For example, in this COVID pandemic, right, last year, it's not that all companies were actually equally, equally disrupted. Some of them were able to anticipate some of this crisis. I mean, they were able to anticipate to a certain extent, and they had started working virtually long before this crisis. It's only those companies who were not prepared. They had to assemble laptops and for their employees to work from home. They were not prepared at all. They had to do that at the last moment. So they were not in touch with things going around them. So this is the thing, that having your senses open and knowing what's going on in different situations, technology, what's going on in the world is very important to actually to respond effectively. Then able to make tough calls after looking at a problem from all angles. So that is a difficult thing. You cannot always be a crowd pleaser. You cannot always be a person who is liked by everybody. A leader may not, in certain situations, he has to make tough calls also. So it's about looking at, analyzing, and making critical judgments to benefit the overall company. Yes. And demonstrating situational awareness. So these are some points about strategic vision. Then we have one of the very important qualities of active listening. I think one of two of you have mentioned this also, active listening. And it's not just listening, it is active listening. And what is the difference in active listening? So I have a poll, actually. Yeah, I just have this poll. Maybe Ketan, you can have the second poll.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you can post the second poll.
Okay. Poll is visible now. Question is visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, thanks. We'll wait for 2 minutes like last time. Okay. If we have 60-70% people responding to the poll, stop. Okay, I'll stop the poll now.
Yeah, we can display the poll. Yeah. So let us see what you think about active listening. Which of these are most important? I mean, most of these attributes are important, but we'll just see what is the poll like. Yeah. So 29 out of 82 says asking questions and seeking clarification is very important. It's very nice. And then 14 of you says observing body language for non-verbal cues. 12 of you says being neutral and non-judgmental. And then we have 8 of you says making eye contact. Very nice. Yeah. So asking questions and seeking clarification. Yes, we will come to that. We will talk about that now. So this was just to get your view. Okay, so now what is active listening? So it's not just listening, it's active listening. It means listening with all your senses, observing non-verbal cues also, not just verbal. What we tend to do mostly is just listen to what is being said, and we are looking somewhere else. Many times it happens in a conversation. You don't make eye contact. You are looking somewhere else, and you are not really interested. You are just interested in responding to the person or reacting rather than getting the message. And so listening with all your senses is very important when you talk to your team, when you talk to your stakeholders, when you talk to your management. So to get the exact view. Neutral and non-judgmental, don't judge the person by his response, or because you don't know where they're coming from. What is their response? Just get the listen fully and then respond. So give a chance to the person to speak rather than before you want to respond. Yeah. Eye contact. This is one important thing in speaking, right? In the speaking circuit, in public speaking and all, they tell you about eye contact. It's about being sincere. It's about being credible. When you look at somebody and speak and you look into the eyes, right, you show sincerity in your message. And when you are looking elsewhere, when you look at the ceiling or you look at the floor, it shows that you have something to hide. So you're not being sincere. About posture and body language, a person who actually, folds the arms across the chest and speaks to you shows a person who is not approachable, is not very friendly. Whereas a person who welcomes you, who has open arms, open palms, and speaks to you shows that this type of language shows openness and friendliness. So such people are mostly approachable and friendly and trustworthy. So you can see some of the great leaders like, Obama and all. You can see their videos. If you watch their videos, you can see they always use open palm gestures and wide open palms. Yeah, is their body language. Next is about smiling, leaning, and mirroring. Like, when you listen to a person, when you're listening with all your senses, it means about and ready to listen. You are actually ready to take their message. You smile and you lean forward. Sometimes you need to nod, show that you are getting the message. Asking questions and seeking clarification. Now, this is what I got most of the poll. I mean, most people in this poll said about, asking questions and seeking clarification. Very good point. Now, if you have been to a restaurant, right, you'll see this in action. You'll see the waiter comes to take your order and he says, "Sir, what is your order today?" And then you will order something. I will have a biryani and some raita and something else, or some fruit juice or something like that. You place your order, and the waiter says, "Sir, can I repeat your order? You have just ordered a biryani, a raita, and a fruit juice. Is that right?" So what is he trying to do? He is trying to get a buy-in from you. And why do you need that? Because he doesn't want to make you angry. He doesn't want to make you upset by bringing something else. And this is one very important thing, a facet of communication. We meet people from diverse cultures, different languages, people all over the world. And we need to make sure that we have understood. Just by nodding, we cannot get their consent. We have to make sure they have understood. And this is by, repeating the message. So next time you speak to your team, you can ask them, can you just repeat it so that I'm sure that you got the message across, so that you got my message. Because these things we cannot assume a person has understood. So that is very good. I mean, I like that response. Most of you have asked, said that it's about asking question and seeking clarification. So sometimes you're not sure of something, make sure you ask and then clarify so that your doubts are cleared rather than going on further, gathering requirements. If you gather requirements from your client and all, make sure that you have got the picture clear. It doesn't lead to a gulf. Correct. So, and finally, it's about summarizing these things. Whenever you finish a talk, make sure you summarize so that it's for the benefit of everybody. At a meeting, you have a meeting, you have completed a meeting, summarize the meeting and decide what is to be done. Action items and all is later, but summarize everything. So it's for the benefit of the whole team. So these are about active listening. Then we come to adaptability. I think we spoke about a little bit about adaptability. It's about being situationally aware and, adapting to different situations. Today in an agile or a framework, right, when you're working in a company, then you need to be nimble and in order to change. And, clients may have a new requirement because there is a technology shift or some new OS has come into the market. They want to adopt that or new OS in their software development. So then what you need to do is that you need to be adaptable and understand where the client or where the stakeholder is coming from and why are they placing this request upon you. So it's not always what we learn in project. I mean, we say in project management there is scope creep and all, but sometimes you have to also put yourself in the customer's shoes. You have to understand where they come from. It's about managing expectations. What is within scope and what is out of scope. So sometimes you have to weigh these things and see where they come from. So adaptability is able to read and act on signals. That means, we were saying about looking at keeping your senses open and quickly responding to events that are happening around the globe. Curiosity and experimentation. This is a very important trait of a leader, about being curious and ever ready to learn. So this is one skill. That means you're able to learn quickly, you're able to grasp things quickly because you have that curious mind and you are ready to take risks also and ready to fail. So this, you must also, as a leader, it's today we need to develop this quality in our team members also, that give them a chance. And sometimes if they make mistakes, you take the accountability for that. You're ready to say that this mistake I take accountability for this mistake. I won't blame you. I mean, it's just a new maybe employee or something who has tried out something new, and so you must give them a chance to actually fail also. So failure is something which is important. By in curiosity, in experimentation, you need to come across failure, others you'll never learn. Handling unexpected demands. So this is where you are talking about managing expectations. So sometimes you may face stakeholders and unreasonable clients who ask you so many demands they have on this feature, that feature, and some of it may not be agreed upon because you have already defined some scope for your projects, and then come this conflicting demands, new demands come up. So that time you need to manage expectations and say, this is what we have agreed upon, and I have got it here. And anything beyond this, I would say, is beyond scope of a project. So we have to consider it as a new request or a change request, and I have to get back to my team and then come back to you. So once you manage these expectations at the onset of the project, then you have faced less problems in your project later. Then having a growth mindset, not looking at things always negatively, having a positive attitude to things, a growth mindset. Creating an environment of psychological safety for your team. That means they feel that they can make mistakes, they feel that they can trust you, and they feel that they can come to you anytime when they have a problem. So that's psychological safety is important. That is, you are approachable, they can come to your office and actually confront you and to talk to you about their problems, and you are able to listen to them. So that is about you give them, you actually develop a environment, a culture in your company where people feel safe and trustworthy. Practice emotional agility. So this is about like resilience. When you face a problem, are you able? Everybody of us, we all face problems, but it's not about not being emotional and all. We all also have our emotions, but how long do we keep these emotions? How long can we be sad about something? How long can we be angry about something? It's about being bouncing back as quickly as possible and realizing that we have to go on. We can't just keep brooding over things that have happened. We have to move on. So it's also important to accept that you are facing a problem, and then you actually act upon it. So it's not that you don't face any problem. So that is about adaptability. And this is another quality. I think many of you have written about trust also. Trusting. And trust doesn't come easy. Trusting someone requires, leading by example. If suppose you have a meeting with a friend and you say, I'll meet you at, 10 o'clock at this place. And it's already 10:30 and the person is waiting. And finally you send a message at 11 o'clock that you can't make it. So, this can happen once and maybe your friend excuses you. But if it happens often, if it happens many times, then that person will say, I can't, I know your timing, I can't believe you. The last few times you have never been on time. So how can I trust you? How can I trust you? So this is very logical. We see, right? We see these things happening. So if you want to develop that trust, you have to also give back. If somebody is very trustworthy to you, you reconcile that and you actually behave the same way. That means you trust the person. So this comes through, leading by example. Even in your job, if your boss, you see a leader is actually really working hard to get those impediments removed in your project. He's working hard to make sure that you have all the resources you need. He's working hard. Then you see that you need to also step up and deliver the project on time. You need to do your work also on time. So you see, this is a mutual respect and trust, and it comes through it comes through experience. It comes through recognizing each other's strengths and differences. So trust is about being approachable and friendly, modeling the behavior you seek. So if you expect trust from others, you also need to trust them. You need to give respect in return. Being consistent and not just suddenly out of this very funny behaviors and all, then people will be very scared about you. I mean, they will not approach you easily. So you have to be consistent in your behaviors and all. Build accountability. Accountability is, taking accountability for a mistake you have made. So you may not always do the right thing, but be accountable and say that I made a mistake. This time I have made a mistake. I accept it. Or even if your team member does a mistake, you accept it because you are the leader. And when giving credit, you give credit to them. You don't take credit. I mean, always. You're not a leader just to take credit, but you're also accountable. That means you also accept that problems, you can create mistakes and problems. So being honest and supportive in times, right? Sometimes a person, your team members or somebody not able to perform up to their potential. Then you try to understand, sit one-on-one with them, talk to them, and find out what is behind in your mind, what is going on. Is it some personal problem? Is it, or they are bringing to work or something? And because this person may be delivering very well consistently, but it's just a period of time that we are going through. So you need to understand and support them and have that empathy, which some of you have mentioned. Have that empathy, and that is to understand where these people are coming from. So being authentic and vulnerable. See, as a leader, right? Everybody expects a leader to be, sometimes they say he must know all, he or she must know all. But it's not true. A leader must be authentic and vulnerable. That means if you don't know, just say it. I don't know this. And I don't have all the answers to what you're asking. But I'm sure some of my team members will be knowing more than me. I mean, you can say, so we can all work together and come with a solution. It's not necessary that the leader has all the answers. So So it's just that he has to facilitate that meeting, that mobilize his team and then get all people to come at the solution. So that means bring the best in everyone, bring the best out of everyone. And that is that leader's quality. It's not about knowing all the answers. And vulnerable is because leader is also a human, just like anybody, team member, and he has to show his real self, his or her real self in any situation. Being authentic is very important. You don't have to show that you are some out of the world person or some superhuman. You're just a normal human being. That will get you more trust from your team members. Then it's about empathy. I think many of you mentioned empathy. So this empathy is a very quality able to, you are able to understand the needs of others. You are able to put yourself in others' shoes, so to say. So it's about looking at things from a different perspective, not only always from your eyes, but from others also. Being aware of the feelings and thoughts of others. It's about showing sincere interest in others' needs, hopes, and dreams. So suppose you have a team, right? You have to look at their career goals of each one of them, and they have some hope, they have some dream, they have some needs. And you can't just when you delegate work to a person, it's about asking them what do you need before you actually delegate the work. Do you have all that you need to do this work? So it's these questions are important because it shows that as a leader you're looking far, and you and you all together want to get the work done. So you are also playing the role of removing any blockages, any impediments that can stop their work. Yeah. So a willingness to help people with problems. And here again, we have being an active listener. As a leader, you have to listen to your team members. So it's about this willingness to listen and giving genuine recognition and praise. This is not difficult, but it's very important. And it may seem very small, but it's really very important to motivate a person. Like just saying thanks for that wonderful work you did yesterday or something like that. It's very sincerely, you just say a word of thanks, right? That person will really remember that, and he will say, yeah, he will appreciate your recognition and praise. So it's not about having a fancy party or something to celebrate, but it's just a small words of encouragement, a thank you note or a gesture plays a big part in your day-to-day work, And this is the quality of curiosity. And curiosity is about keeping an open mind. And when I talked about active listening, many of you told that you don't be judgmental, right? We don't have to be judgmental when you're listening to somebody. They just keep an open mind and let the ideas come across. Like in a brainstorming session, you don't judge those ideas which your team members give. You just put them down on the whiteboard, and then finally you get a solution, right? So it's about just being there and listening and not just shutting off ideas. So it's about keeping an open mind, and that's how you encourage everybody's learning and curiosity. Ask questions relentlessly. If you don't understand, ask. Like, this is one, I think, good quality that most, I would say, I would not want to listen, but most, young children have this wonderful quality of curiosity. And it is along as we age, right, we become quiet and we ask less questions. And we forget that it's a very important skill to have about asking, but it's just not asking unnecessary questions. It's about asking relevant questions, the well thought of questions that can encourage thinking. Diversify your interests. So it's curiosity, right? Sometimes we don't try certain things in life. We realize too late we have not tried out this thing. Take some risks, learning a new skill, trying something new, and this will maybe it helps you along the course. So trying out different things and reading widely. So if you want to develop knowledge in some subject, you need to read widely. So this habit of reading or even attending forums, meeting people, networking, all these are can quench your curiosity. Then this quality of resilience. And this is more relevant today because of this pandemic and all. Resilience, the ability to bounce back from a crisis. So for this resilience, you need a positive attitude. You always have to look at the bright side of things. I mean, of course, you have to be practical. It doesn't mean just bright side, but you have to know where your abilities are, where your strengths are, and you know your weaknesses also. So in this situation, you need supportive family and friends. You need to have a network, good network. So it can be anywhere. It can be your support group. It can be the group which you play badminton, or you go for a chat out. I mean, you have certain groups, right? Meetups that you meet. Like PMI also has their own support group, where friends and all. So these groups can help you get over this type of situations you face. So making every day meaningful. It's about looking forward to a new day, and welcoming a new day and having gratitude for the things that you have. So that will actually that will make you feel that you are not so bad at all. You are better than many people out there. Being proactive, taking initiative, learning from experience, and then self-care. So as we said, self-care is about self-awareness. That means that you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. That is about this self-care. Okay, so this is resilience. So we have many attributes which I have described here. And another one, very important one, is communication. And this is one of the most, I say 70 to 80% of a time, one of project managers' job is about communication, right? You have to communicate with vendors, stakeholders, your team, your management, sponsors, everybody. So there it comes up. It's a very important skill to have, and here you can exercise all those the subtle pointers which I pointed out earlier about your eye contact, your body gesture. All this comes into play when you talk to anybody. Being honest and sincere and authentic, active listening. We talked about active listening. It's a very important skill to have. Simplify and be direct. That do not try to confuse people or to make things very complex. That best thing is keep it simple whenever you want to. And in communication also, keep it simple so that people can understand. And if they still don't understand, then you can illustrate through stories. Or if you're a visual person, you can draw some visual stories to illustrate your point. Affirm, get the understanding, and then get open body language as we described. And there is one more point that we talked about, getting buy-in, like making sure the other person has understood your message. So these are some useful communication tips, I would say. And emotional intelligence. Now, emotional intelligence is about your self-awareness, able to understand and manage your emotions. And then you are aware of also what is going around you. Social awareness, ability to when one look at a person's body gesture or his eyes and all, you say that this person is not his usual self today. You can tell by observing your team members. So that awareness is the situational ability to influence, coach, and mentor others who need help or who are going through a conflict at work or at home or something. So this collaborative communication, working together with others, interpersonal communication. So self-motivated leaders work consistently towards their goals, and they also motivate the rest of the team. So they are able to not only motivate themselves, they can even motivate others. They can inspire others to perform well. So this is about emotional intelligence. And then it's about having the courage. And this is a very, very important skill. Leaders cannot always be right, and cannot be always pleasing others. You may have to take tough decisions. I just give you, for an example, one of your team members, he comes too late to work every day. Every day, he comes late to work. And maybe, he's a good performer, great performer at work, is very good. Okay, but Is it fair to the rest of the team? The rest of the team are every day they come on time and they leave on, I mean, they leave on time, or and they put in the same effort and all. And this person may be very creative, he may be doing great work, but he comes late for work. So how would you actually, have be fair to all? You have to have ground rules. You cannot have one person they're having this showing this type of means behavior towards the organizations. You have to be fair to all, and for that you have to have some ground rules that will benefit the rest of the team also, because all your team members are watching your leadership. They are studying, I mean, how you behave as a leader, and you can't take such decisions which only benefit one person when you have a team to take care of. So the ability to inspire people, the ability to initiate and participate in this courage, this requires courage to take us to, approach the person and tell them that I have to be fair to the whole team. So I have to ask you to start coming on time, maybe. So you have to, it takes courage to take such decisions and to talk people. So you have to inspire people and bring out the best in them. The ability to participate in difficult conversations. That means not everybody will agree with you. And so sometimes you have to engage in these difficult conversations. Ability to act decisively and to challenge the status quo. The ability to handle criticism, and the ability to listen when the truth is difficult to hear. So this requires courage. And this is influence. And influence is about, Warren Bennis had said, like, leadership is nothing but influence, nothing more, nothing less. He said, one of the comments is so influence comes through building trust. People look up to you because you have demonstrated that leadership. It comes over time. It doesn't come easy. So people trust you because you have set an example, and you are always thinking of others, even bigger than for yourself. That means you think of others, you want others to excel, your team members to excel. You want them to be the best, and you're not concerned if they even overtake you, they know more than you. These things are not of concern. You are, as a leader, you are just you are bringing out the best in them. You invest in the success of others, and you lead with character, not and by setting an example. So in your behaviors, you demonstrate consistency in your direction, in your communication, and you are open in discussing work with your team also. So this is about influence, how you build influence, your network. And then we come to one topic called yeah. So we can run an audience poll, Ketan, I think, on this motivation.
Sure.
The last question.
Yeah, sure.
So how do you keep your team members motivated? Yeah.
Hope everyone is able to see this poll.
Yes, sir, we can see.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I'll end the poll.
Yeah. Okay. So we have 20 of you feel that congratulating your team members and thanking them for their effort is the most important one. 16 of you believe that you have to provide them the resources and they need and trust them to get the work done. And the next is 12, that is provide them with the vision and purpose. And then finally, we have 9 of you who says coach and mentor them. Yeah. So these are some important points. How you keep your employees motivated. Yeah. Now we'll come to motivation. Before we take a break, we'll just talk about this motivation. Now, providing a vision and a purpose, the first point, right? See, many times we have your team members, they come to work and they feel they are doing their job right. But, they are not intrinsically motivated. Why do you feel? Because sometimes, it's about the purpose, that far reach, that overall purpose. And sometimes as a leader, you need to tell them that, yes, somebody is saying in the chat that is it not all? It is all, but I just want to get your opinion of what you think is what you would do. Yeah, you need to do all those things. Yes, it's right. So about vision and purpose, I would say that, it's about approaching your team members and asking them that, how what you do every day is fitting into our company's vision, how it is aligned. Like, for example, your member is designing an IC chip and he sees only that he is designing an VLSI chip or something. And if you give them a purpose, if you give them a goal, say, for example, this IC that you are designing is at the heart of the iPhone, and what you are designing, is at the heart of an iPhone, and so many millions of billions of users use this iPhone every day. And so your work is so important to us. The purpose of their work, you give them a purpose, a meaning to their work, and then they feel that intrinsic motivation. So motivation has many theories. There are Maslow's theories and Herzberg's and even McGregor. A lot of theories on motivation you must have heard in project management, right? So it's about, these factors. Some of them are hygiene and motivation factors. Salary everybody has, but this type of not a word of encouragement you get from your boss every day, or your boss doesn't know what you're doing. So it's, it's about setting clear goals. What do they see? Where is their vision? Where is the vision? Where is the vision of the person? And providing the resources your team needs to do the job exceptionally well. Some leaders have this habit. Before they give you a delegate to you, they will always ask you, do you have what you need? Do you have this software? Do you have Excel, or do you have Tableau, or whatever? Before actually I delegate something to you, I check with you whether you have the resources you need. And then create purposeful work and belief in your team. And sometimes you need to coach and mentor them because they may not have that skill that you need to get the work done. So you need to encourage them, congratulate them, and thank them for their effort finally. So that is motivation. And at this point, I'd like to be that we can break up for 10 minutes and we can come back after 10 minutes and continue.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sajeev. We'll take a 10 minutes break here and then we'll be in some Jacob, you are joining? Joining? No, no. That's what I was checking. It is just the last lot of things. One of the board members I'll call around 12 o'clock. Okay, fine. Yes. ठीक है, no problem. Hello everyone. I hope everyone is back after the break of 10 minutes with your coffee cup, freshening up. So we are ready to start our sessions. Over to you, Mr. Sanjeev.
Yeah. So let me share my screen first. Yeah. So we were here in motivation, yeah. So before we go ahead, I'd like to say this this second session, right? I'd like to have one activity after I complete this a few slides more. We'll have an activity where I will talk about a crisis situation that can happen, and then I'd like a few volunteers from you, at least 2-3 volunteers who can we'll be giving you 5 minutes or 5 minutes to actually get come up with a response plan to the crisis. As a leader, what would you do? So basically, just you will be unmuted and you can speak for few minutes. What is your response? And I'll be giving some prizes to those who participate. So that is one of the activities we have later. Yeah, so just a heads up. So we can continue from where we were now. So the next thing is about being focused. It's about focus. And focus is, there are a lot of distractions we have during our day, right? We have meetings, we have phone calls, we have emails, and how to handle those distractions and keep focus when you are juggling so many tasks and something which is important, which is of priority. So how do you be clear about your goals and that you should not be disturbed? So this is an important skill for a leader to have, to be able to prioritize and avoid distractions, and to be able to limit your information intake also. So that means there is information all around. There is so much of information overload. It's that what is relevant and what is not, you need to be able to differentiate. And this requires self-discipline and the ability to reflect on what you did well and remember and regroup, summarize things. So this is all about focus. So then this quality of accountability, one of the important qualities. So keeping your commitments to people, to your values, and to truth. So taking responsibility for your team's performance, whether it is good or bad, you take responsibility as a leader. You say that I have not done this time, our team has not done well, but I take the responsibility. So sometimes you need to take the responsibility. Building in with individuals, like coaching them and helping them to be their best, and having a common purpose. And so this is about accountability. So it's an accountable leader, right? Takes responsibility for actions and for failures, and he also gives credit to the team when they have done well. So now we come to this virtual workplace. So we are today working in a virtual setting, right? Most companies are working from home. So how do you lead in such a workplace? So this is, we have this Padlet again. We can just click on it and you can put this in the chat also. So we have so you can just let me know what are your thoughts on leading in a virtual workplace like today, right? So you can click on that link and you can just key in what do you think, how does a leader function in a virtual workplace? How do you lead in a virtual workplace? Is it any different from the face-to-face setting, co-location? Yeah, I see some of you are writing very good. Yeah. Yeah. Communication. trust. And the trust is a very important thing in a virtual setting. Yeah, you have, because having trust and targets. Because many leaders feel that they need to constantly micromanage their team in a virtual setting because they don't see you. Sometimes they don't see you, so they say, "Where is your video? I can't see you, and have you done the work?" That means so they become anxious, more anxious. Yeah, very nice responses. So command on digital tools. So there are some advantage of the virtual workspace also. You have to, you have, so many have become proficient in digital tools like all this, like communication takes place on Skype, Google Teams. Communication channels to be open, trust, regular interactions, accountability, monitor work progress. Right, very good. Self-discipline, understanding time, and that is a very important point. Time difference and cultural traits. Somebody has put that because you're working in a diverse team, people coming from different countries, and you can't schedule a meeting like when somebody is in the midst of his sleep or her sleep, right, at the time zone. So you need to be sensitive to those things. And cultural traits, very good. And ensuring camera is on so that you are able to have eye contact and understand. Nice. Yeah, so these are very good points. Yeah, yeah. Fine. That's a nice. Those are nice points. Okay. So these are some examples of real world situations. For example, Maple Leaf Foods in Canada, right? When they actually they faced some contamination, listeriosis. There was some contamination and it led to listeriosis, right? So then their leader had to come forward and say, apologize to the people, saying that our best efforts failed and we are very deeply sorry. And this is the toughest situation we have faced in 100 years in a company. So you see the way that the leader communicated and people were able to, just at least he tried to mitigate the situation. We know that this has shaken your confidence in us, and I commit to you that our actions were always putting your interests first. So this was what McCain said of Maple Leaf Foods. Then we had this Queensland Premier. She said, "We are Queenslanders. We are the people, that they breed tough north of the border." It's about the floods when she wanted to mobilize the people to actually to come together. And so you see the words they use to actually to inspire the people to have hope in the future. We are the ones that they knock down and we get up again. So she's trying to talk about the resilience quality of Queenslanders. And then we had Rudy Giuliani, the New York mayor, who said that a leader has to have a philosophy which may not be so formal, but a set of beliefs. You have to be able to set us direction. And courage is the management of fear, not the absence of fear. So even leaders go through fear, but the way they manage it is that they have the courage to face that fear. And then we had the New Zealand Prime Minister say that when this COVID pandemic struck, she said the worst case scenario is simply intolerable and I will not take the chance. And so she has made certain good decisions for her country. So the government will do all it can to protect you. So the way a leader communicates to the people, right, reflects on their leadership qualities. So now we come to this exercise, which is a crisis simulation. And so I would like to the three topics that we can choose are, you can choose either of these topics. One is about hacking in your company. There has been a data theft. And so there's a cyber attack or data theft. And so you need to prepare your business and what is going to be your response to this attack? How are you going to, suppose management asks you what happened, you are the IT CEO or something. So just come out with your response, okay? So we'll give you 5 minutes to think of whichever topic you are picking up. So 2-3 volunteers we can have, and I will give some prizes later on. So the second topic is It's about a natural disaster in Maharashtra, Bombay. So your place, right? So there's a natural disaster, and you are the manager of a corporate travel management company, and there is a cyclone in Maharashtra. And so, how would you how would you respond to this natural disaster, and how would you lead your people out of it? Say your company has been devastated, and you have lost a lot of assets, and people also are going through a tough time. The third one is there's a major crisis involving food poisoning, and your company produces this mustard oils, okay? And recently, this resulted in widespread deaths of 60 people and illness also. And you are the communication manager for your company, and there is a media conference or something. You need to come out with some answers to the people. People will ask you a lot of questions, and you need to answer them. So, can we have some? We'll give you 5 minutes now. Ketan, can we like give them some time so that and then
Sure,
after
yeah.
that, whoever volunteers, you can raise your hand, and we will allow you to speak for. Once you're ready, you can speak for some time for about how your response will be, and then we have some prizes for you.
Yeah, so it's 11:20 right now. So we start getting responses by 11:25.
Yeah,
Or
you can
26.
volunteer. I mean,
Okay.
people can volunteer, raise their hand
Yeah.
now itself. You can start
Sure,
doing
sure.
before you can raise your hand, and you can say that you are going to participate.
Okay, okay.
And then you can just start. You can give them 5 minutes to. Then you can unmute them, and they can speak.
Okay.
We can give them some extra time if they need to think, like around even 10 up to 10 minutes, maybe max. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. So let's see at around 11:26.
Yeah. So has anybody raised their hand or something? Yeah.
Yeah. One person, Mr. Vinay
Okay.
Patil, I can see he has raised
Okay.
hand.
Okay. So it's great. I mean, I'm giving some prizes away. So take part in this. There's nothing to lose. It's all
Okay, one more person,
there's
Mr.
nothing to-
Harish
Yeah.
Maya. Harish Maya.
Great. Any more?
Vinayak Sutar. Mr. Vinayak Sutar.
So we have 3 people. Yeah. So you
Yes.
can speak for about we can give them 10 minutes. How much? 3 persons. We can have like around we can have 10 minutes or 5 minutes each person at least.
Mr. Vinay Patil also. So Vinay
Okay.
Patil,
How many people are there?
Yeah,
If it is more than if you have 5 people, we can each give them 5 minutes each.
okay, 1 minute. I think we have Vinay Patil. We have already taken his name. Mr. Harish Maya. And Mr. Vinayak Sutar. 3 we have.
So if we have 5 people, we can I mean, more of volunteers, you can take part, because this is just fun. We are just sharing it. We are not judging you or by your responses and all. We just learning. Yeah. So take part. That's the best chance to take part and learn how to develop your risks and how to handle risks. I mean, risk management and all things like that. So you need to. So can we have some more volunteers? I mean, can we have 5 volunteers at least? Yeah. Once we reach 5, we can start. Yeah.
Mr. Ajay Marapat.
So how many we have currently? How many members? How many? 5.
4 I have. I can see
4.
at
4.
least.
One more volunteer maybe. Anybody else would like to give it a try? Just a sharing session. You get a chance to speak. You have been quiet all this time, so at least you can talk.
Mr. Vikas Bhatia. So we have
Great, Vikas. Thank you. So we have 5 people, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Then we can start the once they have read, once they have done. When you are all of you done? The 5 people who are volunteering, and then once you are done with your response, like we can start. So you need some more time, 1 or 2 minutes more, maybe we can give you.
We have one more person, Mr. Sankar Bera. He was not raising his hand, but in the chat he has done.
We'll see. We can. I think we should be able to accommodate. Yeah.
Okay.
At least a few points we can.
Sure. Yes. So, how you want to go about this?
Yeah, we can start with them like one by one. We can unmute them and let them speak. Are they ready? Can we check with them if they are ready? Yeah. In the chat, maybe you can tell us in the chat if you are ready for sharing. All those volunteers. All the volunteers, can you tell us if you're ready? Okay. Vinay is ready.
Says yes. Yes. Vinay Patil says he is ready. Mr. Harish Maya is also ready.
Okay, sure. Any topic will do. Ransomware or anything. Yeah, just sharing, just learning.
So we'll start with Mr. Vinay Patil in that same.
Sure. We'll go in that order, the response order. Yeah.
Okay.
You have got all the names, right? 5 names. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So we can one by one unmute them and we can let them speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm unmuting Mr. Vinay Patil.
Thank you
so much, Vinay. Yeah.
Thank you, Raju and Ketan, for such an interact. First of all, I would like to choose first option, the hacker scenario. I am a part of the RPI and I can correlate things very well.
Oh, great. Nice.
So as you mentioned the case, here you mentioned as a hacker perspective. So first, as a leader, if I'm a leader, then take a responsibility. The losses means what kind of data is lost and what are the damages happened. That has to be first.
Okay.
And see the security and how.
Okay. Some sound problem is there. There is some lag in your sound.
Act as a learning curve. Because if the hacker and everybody is smart enough and they may damage our firewall and all the safety, and then we have to take a again whatever. So this is what are my thought of. Okay, is it am I audible
very
now?
good.
Hello.
So
Hello.
you have talked.
Yeah. So I said
now it's
first
better.
we
Initially
take
there was
to
some
see the analysis.
disturbance.
How much data is what are damages happen.
Yeah. So what I liked about your answer is that you address the problem of what has happened. So this is a very good way about asking questions, right? You ask the right questions. What has happened? What have we lost? So you're taking account of what has happened first. And then you are acting on that. What is the severity? What is the impact?
Yes.
And this is one important thing in risk management. You have two questions to answer. What is the probability? What is the impact? And you have to answer these things. What is it? So before a risk happens, now it has already happened. So you are looking at the impact, and then you are taking stock of it. So, actions that you can take in risk is that you can either mitigate, you can accept the risk, or you can actually take some, work around, or you can,
Yes.
So current COVID scenario, you may have to dig into your management reserves, contingency reserves and all. You may have to, so very nice. And finally, you thought about counter action also.
Yes.
So, yeah. So my feedback to you is you have done very well. You have the only thing what I would suggest to you to do even better, right, is to describe, go to the details next time when you're talking about. So describe what has happened. Is it a DDoS attack? What type of attack has happened? Try to give people a clear thing of. Don't just describe in general. So next time when you're talking, when you attempt a question like that, try to what has actually happened. There has been a DDoS attack. It has happened last week on Friday, and our company has lost all the data of. And I'm really this thing that we are doing everything within our capability to recover. Yeah, as if you're answering to people. Okay, so take it like that. Yeah, so
Okay,
this is just a
definitely.
suggestion, but I liked your enthusiasm to participate, and you have done very well, and you will win a prize later. So I'll need your email later just to share with me. I won't share it with anyone else, so that I can send you the gift. It's an ebook. Yeah, it's an ebook. So I'll be sending it to you. So can we have the next participant? Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move to the next person, Mr. Harish Maya.
Yeah, Harish, welcome. And what is the topic that you have chosen?
I also chose ransomware itself.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and I would like to continue from where Vinay left. I think what I would do is first I would inform all stakeholders. That's the first thing I would do and be very transparent about that.
Okay.
At the same time, I would inform the statutory bodies, if any. I would inform the law enforcing team because they have to start doing their job. At the same time, I would assemble the incident response teams. And as Mr. Vinay said, we would try to understand the severity of the crisis, what all data we have lost. But at the same time, parallelly, we would like to invoke the BCP because we want to keep our customers, we would like to keep our services up and running as much as possible and reduce the downtime. So there would be two teams working. One team would be focusing on understanding the severity and trying to recover as much possible. But meanwhile, the other team would focus on getting the systems up and running. That is by invoking the BCP. The third activity which I would like to do is assemble a team who's basically going to study the nature of the attack, what went wrong, what was the root cause analysis, and learn from them, so that becomes part of our repository for learning and take care of future attacks.
Very
I
good.
think this is what I had to submit.
Very nice. So your points come. I like the way you had a very logical flow to your thinking, and it's nice to have that. So you talked about informing all the stakeholders. That is very important. Taking everybody into confidence during a crisis, or even if your project is going on track, even if you're doing well, it's very important to be transparent and let everybody know how you're doing. So even if you're here, very good about being transparent. Then informing all the relevant bodies, the regulatory agencies, the stat boards, the law enforcement. Good action. Yeah. Assembling response team, studying the severity of the data loss, and your business continuity planning, also your how to reduce and make it up and running soon, how to get it up and running soon. Okay. So you had some clear ideas of what you are going to do, and that is good because you really thought about it. How about assembling how many teams and studying and all that. Now, one important thing here that you could work on is that you can study, how would you communicate in this situation? And that is what we want to see. So as a leader, right? We want to see what you would say, what are the words you choose. Suppose something has happened wrong, right? What words would you choose? How would you speak to your team? How would you speak to the stakeholders? We want to see an essence of that. So you could have just given her just a glimpse. Okay, just take us into that real situation and tell us, today I'm standing before you to, I would like to say that a major crisis has happened. Event has happened, and that later you are taking stock of it and all those things. So how would you address, like, that is very important. So maybe you can consider that for your next time you take.
Maybe
But
giving them some examples and
I liked
definite
your
timelines.
presentation, and I liked all your response also. Well done. And also, I need you to share with me your email maybe later. You don't have to. I don't know if whether you can privately email me later, because you don't have to share it to everybody. And I can send you your gift.
Mr. Sajeev, we will have all the email IDs from our attendee list with the email what they have registered. We will have that, so I can share those 5-6 names with you, and then email IDs.
Okay. Yeah. Later we can do that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Sure.
So I can send them that today itself. I can send them the gift and all. Yeah.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. Can we have the next participant? Yeah.
Okay. So we'll move to the next person, who is Mr. Vinayak. Just unmute him. Okay, Mr. Vinayak, you can.
Hi, Vinayak.
Hi, Ketan.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for participating in this. Yeah.
Yeah, Sanjay, so are you able to hear me clearly, or how is it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So basically, I have drafted the response. I think I'll just share my response. So I am the CEO of the organization. So this is the response that I've drafted. So the response goes as, we deeply regret the data theft leading to an impact of around 50 key users. This is the first time that we have been impacted due to such an instance, and I, as the CEO of the organization, take the complete ownership of this particular theft. Currently, we are in a situation where we have implemented the workaround solution, and we are looking into a permanent resolution of the issue through the implementation of enhanced security. So I think this is the overall response that I have prepared. So the point number 1 is I have shared about the impact, the number of users that were impacted due to this particular data theft.
Okay.
And I, as a CEO, take the complete ownership of this particular theft. So probably I think there might be some loopholes in the internal IT organization or internal IT issues that might have created. But I, as a CEO, take the complete ownership. And probably when we are sharing the feedback, I think the end users are much worried about what is happening currently. So basically, I have also mentioned about implementing the workaround solutions, wherein currently the impact to the theft has been diluted. And as also we are looking for permanent resolution options so that this particular issue doesn't reoccur actually. So I think these are the 3 main points that I have covered.
Okay. So I liked the way you understand. You must have heard my message to them, but I admire the way you addressed the employees. Very nice way you used the right words. You used deeply regret, and also you take ownership for these things, for the incident, and you have also thought about workarounds. And coming to suggestions, what I would like to suggest is that in times like this, we have to, like, for example, have a backup plan. So suppose somebody asks you, where is your back? Means all the data is gone. Don't you back up all this data and all something? Suppose somebody asks you, right? So what are the lessons learned you could have started? So we have learned these lessons. Our backup also was maybe you lost the backup also. So things like that. Where do you
got it?
Yeah. So things like that also you have to. So what questions can be raised, and What are
Correct,
some
correct.
of
So I
the
think someone
standpoints?
mentioned about the BCP plan. So I think that also
Yes.
we have to consider in terms of the
Correct,
BCP
correct.
plan in terms of correct, correct, correct.
So
Okay.
well done. I mean, very nice response, and all the best.
Thanks. Yeah.
Later we, yeah.
Okay, so Mr.
You
Sajeev,
can have the next, yeah.
we'll move to the Mr. Ajay.
Okay. Ajay, welcome. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Ajay.
Hi, Ajay. Are you? Yeah, Ajay.
Mr. Ajay, you can start now. I have unmuted you.
Ajay, and
You're able to hear us, Mr.
we
Ajay?
can't hear you. Yeah, Ajay. Or probably we should go to the next person and then Ajay.
Okay,
comes.
yeah.
Ajay, can you check your speaker mic? I think we cannot hear you.
Yeah, we'll come back to Mr. Ajay again. I think meanwhile you can just check his mic. And we'll move to Mr. Vikas Bhatia. Okay, Mr. Vikas Bhatia, can
Yeah.
Vikas Bhatia. Hi, Vikas. Yeah.
Good. Hi. Good morning, and thank you, Ketan, and thank you, Sajeev, for giving me this opportunity. So, as my previous speakers have said, that I have also taken this topic of data theft.
Okay.
So, some of the points which I have captured is like, first of all, this is a breach in our security system. So, the first step will be we will inform the stakeholder about the issue and take the responsibility of this failure. So that will be our first action. And then the next step will be we will try to find out what are the root causes, how this has happened, and even after our robust security system, this failure has happened. So we have to find out where the system was lacking. And then third is that once we try to find out these root causes, I will assemble my team and then try to discuss with them and analyze what is the nature of loss and what are the next steps and how we will continue with our business plan. Means our operation should not suffer even after this breach has happened. And then we'll try to give assurance to stakeholder that yes, we are working on it and we will take necessary actions to rectify. And my team is working on it, and I believe my team and their capabilities, and they will definitely will work out and the solution, and we will definitely would be able to rectify this loss. And then we will have to give, like I will give confidence to my team that yes, now this is the time of crisis. We have to step up our capabilities and show that yes, these crises can be overcome, and we will work together to find out a solution, and we'll take these lessons learned and then implement it, that in future again these types of issues will never happen. And we'll try to motivate the team, work together, and probably try to come out of these crises very soon. So these are my steps. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Nice. A very nice flow of thought also here. So there has been a breach in security, then you are informing the stakeholders and taking responsibility. And then you are digging into the cause and trying to get some workaround and some permanent solutions. So, the important thing during this whole exercise is that about running this exercise with you is that you get a feel of how risk is so important in projects and how we need to think like this. And so those who have volunteered, right, you will get an idea. It's very important about thinking like this in this time. And with your team, you'll be able to do a better job. Today, you have done it alone. Like you've not had anybody to discuss with. But next time, maybe you can discuss with your team, and you can get much better response. But I like the response from you, and maybe you can also work out how you are going to communicate. Like, for example, with us, you can think of how you would speak to your shareholders, stakeholders, and all. So you have to draft out also, like maybe how you're addressing the people and things like that. So that is one thing you can consider. Yeah. But I like that thought you are given to everything, even including the lessons learned and all. So well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, that was nice.
Okay.
Ketan, thank you. Thank you
Yes.
for that.
One more, 1 minute.
One more participant. Yeah, Ajay, right? Ajay.
Ajay, yes. Go back to Mr. Ajay. Mr. Ajay.
Probably some problem with the mic then.
Yes. We have one more person, Mr. Sankar
Okay,
Mehra.
then we can give him. Yeah, we can just carry on with.
Sankar Mehra.
Anybody has selected the other topics? You would.
Hello.
If you have not selected
Hello.
hacking, we would like to hear from you also.
Mr.
Am I
Sankar?
audible to you? Yeah,
Yes,
am I audible
yes.
to you? Yeah.
Yes.
Good morning to all panelists and to all participants. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on this one of the topic I've chosen. So as it is usual, I have also chosen the first one, hackers, ransomware, data theft, and how to react.
Can you be
so
a little louder? Yeah, sorry.
Okay, just a minute. Give me a moment. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So first thing I would say, it will not be a react, it will be a response to a situation which is a unprecedented kind of situation where the data theft has happened. So we have to have a response given to that situation. So what is the first thing is to be done? We have to first invoke our BCP, so that we can restore the thing. First of all, what is the immediate mitigation available to me so that my businesses are less impacted, my business can continue. That's the first response should be there. So I'll talk to my technical team to invoke the BCP immediately so that we can limit the damages. That's the first thing. Then second thing, it will be that I'll form a immediate technical core team. I'll be forming it. The team will be consisting of technical team, a communication team, which is very, very important role to play in the communication. So these two teams, first of all, the technical team, as I told, will be busy in the invoking the BCP and also to ensure to limit the damages to stop further attack. That's the first important thing, that I have to stop the further attack immediately and ensure all our security system in place further, check that all security are restored properly so that no further attack can take place in our system to damage it further. That will be my directive to the technical team to ensure these things. Next important thing is that communication team. Communication team will be very important because first of all, I need to talk my internal stakeholder. That is my CSO, who is the security officer, then my CIO, all these people, including all other stakeholders in the company, stating that what is the issue? Because by the time we come to know what is the issue from the technical team, and to tell them that this is the issue, this has happened, and this is the action we have already taken, and in a theory, we will definitely resolve this issue. So just assure them so that unnecessary concern and concern will create a problem, and they may be losing a kind of confidence in the system. They may be having a lot of panic things. So that I have to ensure that no panic in the system. Things are in hand, controlled. That's the message has to go to the team all across our internal stakeholder first. Then also message has to go to them that they should not speak outside about this issue unnecessarily. I mean to say limited conversation, limited communication to the other people. Otherwise, there may be a rumor, a panic will be created, which will go to my stakeholder customers, which can create a negative impact of the company. So any communication about the incident will be given to the from this authoritative team, which is the communication team. They will be issuing the communication, and that communication only will be shared by our all stakeholders to the other side, outside of the company, because that will limit, that will not create a negative image of the company, or it will be a damage control about our image also. That's the first thing in communication plan. Second in the communication plan will be, I'll be talking to my stakeholders, my clients particularly, those who are doing business with us, to restore their confidence, because they'll come to know about the incident from other sources. Rather than they come to know from the incident of other sources, I'll tell them, inform them with a very communication, clear text communication. This is the incident that happened. These are the business continuity plan already in place. And this is the kind of action you have already initiated, and we're expecting that this issue will be resolved in so and so term. So need not to be worried, and we are on the job. We'll ensure that none of your business will be affected by this incident. So that's a communication has to go to my client, and I will, we'll keep on updating them over a time period so that they get a confidence that their business is safe. That's the first thing I have to ensure. So after this communication is done, then that next thing will be that, once we have established this thing and we got a control of the situation, then we'll be, giving a team to align my maybe CISO and others to ensure that, what are the reasons, how it has happened, all these things will be done, and what are the corrective measures they can take in future so that this kind of incident can be avoided. That analysis and kind of things. That's the things. And what are the new things, for example, even after there's some security measures already there, but it has been breached. So what are the additional things can be done? How we can make it furthermore strengthen the system so that, this cannot be happen. So these are the measures I'll be taking immediately to ensure that, to control the situation as a response to the situation. That's all. That's the measures.
Yeah. Thank you, Shankar. Yeah. So one of the best points that about your presentation was that damage control in communication. That is no rumors on. Today social media is very, very very active, and they can pick out even subtle cues. So how are you going to do that? Maybe you have to think of those lines. So my feedback is to think about how you can mitigate that social media presence. I mean, people, even the airlines today, any feedback will instantly flood the social media. So how are you going to address that? Yeah. And then second thing is one point is how you would prevent this incident from happening again. So you have got a business continuity plan and all, but how are you going to guarantee that this doesn't happen again? So that is going to restore the confidence a lot. So maybe you can consider these points and for your future. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Ketan, thank you. So
do you want to take two more this thing? Someone is saying.
Anybody has got any other topic?
Yes, yes. Mr. Vinay is saying. Yeah, Mr. Vinay is saying that he can speak on the second topic. So
is it the same? He's a different person, right? Yeah.
Yeah, different person. So I'll just unmute him. Okay. Yes, Mr.
Hello.
Vinay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So according to me, as being a owner of a corporate travel management, making a right decision in a case of a natural disaster would be there, because we work with a process, and there has been we have defined a process while going with a travel plan. So in this case, if there is a natural disaster happening, which is cyclone in Maharashtra, so we'll have a backup plan, and there would be a crisis management plan defined in our process, and we will go according to it. In case things goes wrong, then the first thing according to me will be that we have to ensure the way out, which is first is would be how we can make the travel assistance to all the customers so that there is no panic situation among them. Secondly, there would be how we have the hospital tie-ups, which is basically insurance of them to make sure there is everyone has not been everyone is not into the panic situation. And then we'll implement our emergency plan, which will involve what we'll do at the first step is contacts with the local authorities to ensure the safety of our customers. And secondly, once everything once our customers are safe and we have managed the situation, and we'll ensure that all the stakeholders are informed about the situation. And once the situation is over, we'll ensure that whatever went wrong is scrutinized, and we'll try to improve our processes, and we'll include steps can be taken in such situation. But for me as a owner, safety of the customers would be our first priority.
Yeah. So that's your present. Yes, you are completed. Yeah. Yeah. So very nice. I mean, I got
Yes,
your message that so crisis management plan is in place, and you have also considered various aspects of hospital tie-ups and insurance and safety. Now, how would you? My feedback to you is that when you doing this type of planning for the for next time, try to you know assume certain things. Like for example, some in this disaster cyclone, for example, assume that some disaster has occurred. Like for example, a bus or your transport bus or something travel bus has met with an you know has been is actually faced this. It was within the cyclone. You didn't anticipate the cyclone, and there is certain deaths and certain medical. There are people in the hospital. So how would so that you can consider those type of real world scenarios so that it makes your presentation more realistic. So try to yeah. I mean I could have also added that in the question, but it's good for you to consider those things. Okay, so well done, but on the presentation. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, Ketan, I think that's yeah, that should be good for this, sharing.
Okay.
And I thank all the volunteers for I mean so enthusiastically come forward and present whatever you thought, and it gives it also helps us all learn during this process. So thank you very much. So yeah, so some of the questions that you all, if it was a group, like what is the first you have to consider in this crisis, right? What is the first step? What is the first decision to take? And is it effective? So what is the first decision? Some of you said be a business continuity plan. Some of you said communication with all stakeholders. Some of you said that we have to, communicate to people about the regret. I mean, lay the facts of the case, and there has been breach in security. So all these things, very nice points, business continuity plan. So which aspect of this exercise was, you can think about this, which aspect of this exercise was challenging to you and why? And what skills did you employ what skills do you think you should have in risk management? And how could you have done this differently if you had a team? That means if you are discussing with your team, right, and you get their ideas also, then how would what would your response be? Would it be the same or would it be different? And can you think of some situation in the future that you may face a crisis like this, and maybe in your company and all, and how would you deal with it? So these are some questions for you to consider. Okay, so during the past year, right, actually I have been interviewing people from around the world, some thought leaders. So I have interviewed 23 leaders from around the world, and I had taken the interviews and then published these in the form of a book. It's called Leadership in Times of Crisis. And this exercise has been very helpful to me because I asked these leaders 10 questions about what are the values that they consider the most in a leader, then how to motivate a team, then what is the most challenging aspect of their work, and what advice do they have for youngsters, today's youngsters, about taking up project management or leadership positions in a company? What advice do they have? So I talked to 23 leaders over the virtual workspace, right, on Zoom and all, and then I gathered this feedback, and this has been my work during the past year. This book has been published. So here I will now share one of the interviews for you, so we can listen to this video interview now. I'll just share my screen actually. So it is So this is, I have to just select that video. So before I do that, let me just share my sound also. Can you hear now, Ketan?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Disruption and uncertainty makes leadership more than ever. It's not position or leadership skills. Faced with a crisis, it's forced to think and make decisions. Oh, volume is low. Okay. John Maxwell says. Oh, Ketan, I'll just they say volume is
Yes.
low. Yeah. Let me see if I can share the volume is. How do I? Let me see. Close all these things. No, I have to share the sound also. Okay. Volume is maximum actually. Yeah, that's why. Okay, let's play again and see.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is better now. Unprecedented pace of disruption and uncertainty.
Yeah, this is better.
Makes leadership more relevant today than ever before. It's not position or power, but your leadership skills that help you think in unique, creative ways. When faced with a crisis, a leader is forced to think and make critical decisions. A leader who empowers a team and gives the employees
There's an echo in this, huh?
increases the effectiveness of an organization. John Maxwell says that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. Warren Bennis Oh, they say can't hear. Can't hear.
I'm able to hear. So
So they are not able to hear. Why is it so? Why are others not able to hear? So I think it's only for panelists. Or I can share the video link maybe later with them so that.
okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's another way. That's another option.
Yeah,
So
sure,
I would
yes.
say, yeah. So what I'll do is that I think I can share the video link.
Sure,
yes. Somebody says very clear, Harish. We are able to hear, they say. So I think I'll just play it for them. Yeah. Some of them, they are. Kiran has managed hundreds of projects in both party contexts over the past 20 years. Use headphone. You can ask them to use their headphone. Yeah. And has provided
management and project management consulting services to hundreds of clients across multiple industries. Kiran is an active member of the Project Management Institute and served as a volunteer director on the board of the PMI Lakeshore chapter for 6 years. He has reviewed a number of recent PMI standards and practice guides, including the 6th and 7th editions of the PM BOG guide. Kiran has been published in both project management specific journals as well as industry specific journals. He has delivered hundreds of webinar presentations on a variety of project management and agile topics and has presented at multiple industry conferences. In addition to this weekly blog, Kiran is a daily contributor to key LinkedIn and projectmanagement.com project management discussion groups. Kiran is a firm believer that a pragmatic approach to organization change that addresses process and technology, but primarily people, will maximize chances for success. Thank you again, Kiran, for attending this interview. Let me begin by asking you, what do you think are 3 important traits that a project manager or a leader should have to thrive in a disruptive economy?
Absolutely. I mean, I'd say the top 3 that come to mind are personal resilience, the ability to roll with the punches, whether things are going better than we expected, worse than expected, completely changing the approach that we might take for our projects. We need to demonstrate resilience to model that for our stakeholders. The second, I would say, is they need to have a high focus on people.
I published this book. Sorry, can you?
Yeah, now
Can you hear me? Yeah, I was thinking you cannot hear me. Yes. So I published this book on leadership in times of crisis. It contains the transcripts of these interviews with all these 23 leaders, and it's available on LeanPub as well as Amazon. And some of you who have volunteered today will get it free later. I will send it to you by email. So the ebook will be sent to you. So now, these are some of the references. I mean, some of the references for this presentation. And finally, we come to the question and answers. If you have any questions, you can now. So Ketan, I think you can help to if the audience has any questions, yeah, we can answer a few of them.
Sure, yes. If there are any questions? I don't see any questions. If there are any questions, people can put them in the chat.
I think I did see one question earlier in the chat. It was by, I think I took note of it, yes. It was by Harish Madhavan. Yeah, he asked this question about a virtual lunch. And that's an interesting question. Yeah, see, so the first thing we have to understand in a virtual workspace is that we have to accept the fact that it's not going to end so soon. So it's better to prepare for this virtual workspace, working from home. It's good to accept the fact rather than try to ignore it and say we need our company lunch, we need our this thing. So now people are there out there who are making these virtual meetings of great success, and they are coming up with great ideas. You know, one of the ideas I can tell you is that you still can have your lunch virtually. How is it possible? The boss can, send you your lunch through order, say a delivery order. He orders lunch for all of his team members, and they get a surprise visit at 12 o'clock at lunchtime. Somebody rings the bell and there's a delivery at your door. You imagine the surprise. You have not ordered anything, but it's your boss actually who has ordered this meal for you, your lunch for you. So it can happen in a virtual workspace. You just have to think out of the box and come out with some novel ideas to still make it work interesting. You can make it work interesting, but you have to accept the fact that virtual work is not going to end so soon. So no point saying that we don't have our lunch and we don't have this. You have to say there are advantages of virtual work as well as there are disadvantages. There are definitely disadvantages also, but how do you make the most of it? So that is the thing. So any other questions?
Yeah. Well, there is one from Mr. Asin Kumar. He says end clients are still pressing for tighter delivery, but vendors are slow in production of parts. How to deal with clients?
Yeah. So these are situations which every project manager has to handle, and a project manager is the center of a project. And as we all said about communication, stakeholders. Now you have to take your stakeholders into confidence right at the beginning of a project. It's not somewhere in between. You have to have very good rapport with each one of them. And if there are tight deadlines, that is expected. And you are actually not only doing one project, you'll be juggling multiple projects, and there'll be deadlines on each one of them. So how do you manage all this? How do you prioritize all this? And then there are emails and there are people calling you for meetings. And then there is somebody asking you deadline for this project, deadline for that project. How do you handle all this? So that is why you have to have this. That's why we discuss some of the attributes, emotional quotient, intelligence and all, to maintain your composure. You cannot suffer an anxiety attack when 5 people come to you for addressing problems. So in this case, it is about the product parts not met and all. See, I have experienced in my projects parts stuck at the airport, at the customs during this COVID last year itself. Parts have been stuck at the airport, they are not delivered, and the project has to move. So what do? You still have to communicate the truth to your stakeholders, and you have to give them the facts that it's now a pandemic, right? And the companies cannot just go. Even workers are not allowed to work in construction work sites. Do you think workers can just go and work? They're not. They have to do a swab test. They have to go through all this, they have to make sure that they are safe, 1 meter distance and all. And still companies, many businesses have lost, businesses have gone out. They were not able to survive because of this pandemic. So it's not always a bed of roses for you. It's not going to be smooth sailing. You have to face tough challenges as a project manager.
Okay. There are two more.
Okay.
One is, would like to know your point of view on disruption as crisis, where disruption is leading to change in business model.
Yeah. So disruption is not always bad. It's about, taking advantage. Sometimes we say risk can be positive and risk can be negative also. Your risk, you must know also how to exploit. For example, there is a risk today, there is a currency fluctuation, and you are in Canada and your business is all selling in US dollars. And so any fluctuation, right, you may actually gain from that. You may gain, actually, you may have budget surplus actually, just because of the currency fluctuation. So risk is not always bad. It's how to exploit sometimes to your advantage. So there are positive risks and there are negative risks. And so, correct. So in this case, what was the question again? Yeah, it was about.
Yeah, would like to know your point of view on disruption as crisis, where disruption is leading to change in business model.
Yeah, business model. So yeah, one important thing is, the situational awareness, global awareness of your project. You should keep your eyes and ears open, your senses open to what is happening. Companies like Kodak and all, why they went out of business is because they were not aware of what's happening. Digital media was coming so much, but still they stuck to film media. You see how many products went out within not even 1 year's time. You had MD players, you had MP3 players. Where are those products now? Where are those products today? And did they last for even 1 year or so? And you had long CD players. Today today laptops are being made without even a player. You have everything online. So you have to move with the times, and some products will die off. It's just about how well you assess the market. Have you seen the feasibility of your product or your project? Is it worthwhile bringing this product to market? Is there a market demand for it? Is there a business case for it? What is the benefit to cost ratio? Will people benefit from my product? If you don't answer all these questions, why is a very important question to ask. Why are we releasing this product in the first place? If you don't answer that, you are a failure. Your project will be a big failure because you have not answered the main question that people, do they want your product or don't they want it? If there is no market demand, why are you releasing this product in the first place? Yes. So that is my thing. So if you can take advantage of the situation and exploit it, like how today to virtual workplace, how people are taking advantage. Where companies like Amazon and are doing well because they're selling the cloud platform, right? Then Microsoft is selling the Azure. Then you have video conferencing software like Zoom. They are all doing well. Why? Because they know how to adapt. You are actually adapting to the type of business model that actually is prevalent today. You must take advantage of that, and not not like look back and think about the past and brood about you're not able to do this, you're not able to do that. What can you do now that people need? Can you help someone in this crisis? So as a leader, right, I told you the story in the beginning of the talk about that person who helped the child, saved her from death, right? It's about finding that opportunity to serve someone. It's always looking for, it's not always monetary and economy and your project making millions of bucks or something like that. It's about finding an opportunity to serve someone. So that is my, yeah.
Okay, I think we'll take this last one. There is one question by Mr. Harish. Question: what is the responsibility of corporates during these tough times? We see stakeholders, especially in India, refusing to accept the reality.
Yeah.
It looks like the pandemic is only for them and not for service providers. It's really a challenge for leaders to maintain composure during such times. Your comments?
Yeah. See, It's a challenge, but the leader still has to maintain the composure. That is my belief. So it's politics is there everywhere, and today this COVID-19 pandemic, right, would be much. I believe that it will be much easier to resolve if countries around the world came together and took a concerted response to this crisis. Why are every country behaving in isolation? Why is it only my problem, and why it's not it's a universal problem today? Why is not the whole world taking a concerted action on it? Why is it about economy? The people are rushing to produce a vaccine only for economic benefit, not for serving the poor. People booking hospital beds, dying for, this striving for oxygen cylinders and all. This is all, going nowhere. It's about if the leaders of the world have a vision and to come together and address this crisis globally in a concerted way, right? I don't think that it is such a big thing, because there are big rich countries out there, there are poor countries out there, and they have all managed crisis before. This is not the first time it's happening, but it's only that the how important it is to come together and serve one another. That is lacking there today. And what we can do as individuals is only do our part, and it's no point asking these questions, because unless you are in politics, all this happens. So what we can do and our part is, what can we do as an individual? Can we mobilize some people to do some service to the people, to those in need? So that is the immediate responsibility. We can't just we can't say, we have always this onlooker mentality. When something happens, somebody else will act. So why should I do something? Leader doesn't think like that. A leader just acts. They have the initiative, they are proactive, and they take action. They take action on the spot. So when you see something happening, don't keep quiet about it. Be proactive and act. That is my response to that. Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Sajeev. Thanks for this wonderful session. And now I would like to invite our President, Mr. Jacob, for giving vote of thanks and also presenting certificate to you. While he speaks, I'll present the certificate on the screen. Yes, Mr. Jacob, over to you.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Menon. It's a wonderful time that we had for the last almost 2 hours. I hope you can hear me, right, all of you?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. So on behalf of PMI Mumbai chapter, you have to say thank you. Of course, we have got a wonderful number of participants who have taken part in today's program. I think around 80, 85. It's a very good figure, and people from not only Mumbai, maybe other places also attending this. Some things stuck in our minds, and in my mind at least, from your speech, from your delivery, Mr. Menon. One is that servant leadership. Servant leadership is something you spoke about, and everybody is talking about it these days, and it makes a lot of sense and importance in this COVID times. Servant leadership has a very big relevance, I think so. Not only in Agile, where it is talked about very much, but even in regular project management, in our interaction with our colleagues, with our people we are working with. Servant leadership is very important. It has been a very informative evening. Thank you, morning. And thank you very much, Mr. Menon. And also thank Ketan Gandhi for hosting this program so wonderfully. And all you participants who have been here for the last 2 hours to listen to Sanjeev Kumar Menon. It's a pleasure, my pleasure to thank you, all of you, and have a great day. I'd like to leave you with a message that we are having the Project Management Institute Mumbai is conducting our PMP training program, a 4-day training program, which will lead you to take the certificate, write the exam and take the certificate. So that is coming up in the end of this month. So you might see the mailer coming out, you'll see it on the website. It will come out tomorrow. We are also having Agile workshop also for Agile training. That is the ACP training. That is the month of June. So at the end of this month, we have the PMP training. This is just by way of information. You can pass it on to anybody who wants to take the training. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great Sunday afternoon. I don't know whether Ketan Gandhi has arranged for a virtual lunch or not. I'm waiting for the bell. So thank you very much and have a great day, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Menon. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob, for that wonderful vote of thanks. And this is the certificate, Mr. Menon. I'll be sending you soft copy of this over mail. So please accept this on behalf of PMI Mumbai chapter as a token of our appreciation for your time and efforts and wonderful.
Thank you so much, Ketan. Thank you. I would like to express my sincere thanks to Ketan, Girish, and also Jacob for having me in this session. And it was a wonderful opportunity for me to share and also to learn from all of you. So I hope to work closely with your chapter, and I understand that the good work that your chapter is doing. So I'd like the email IDs of those volunteers also, so that I can send them the book, so that
Sure, sure.
Yeah, later.
I'll send it across to you.
Sure.
Okay. So
I just have a quick question. Are
Sure,
you
sure.
based right now in Mumbai or are you outside India?
I'm in Singapore currently.
Yeah. I thought so because I saw your profile. It said Singapore, right?
Yes.
Sure. That's why I didn't mention it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So some announcement for our participants. We'll be sending out mirror for claiming your PDUs. There'll be 2 PDUs which will be assigned for this attending this webinar. So that will come within a day or 2, as well as we'll send across link for giving your feedback. Please share your feedback about this session. Very important for us to improve on this webinars and what we can do to this interaction with you and provide some more service to you. So these are 2 announcements, and also I would like to thank Mr. Girish and Mr. Sunil, Mr. Sachin for their support for conducting this virtual meeting, because these people are working in the background. They don't see you or they don't interact, but very crucial part they are playing in putting up the show. So thanks a lot everyone for giving us support for putting up this virtual meeting. And once again, I would like to thank Mr. Sajeev Menon for his time and his cooperation on this. Thank you. And
Thank you.
wishing Mother's Day to all. Please wish your mothers, because they have been doing great job and taking care of us. So, and have a good day. Take care. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Stay indoors. Thanks a lot. I'm signing off and ending the session.
Thank you. Bye.